DTP for the win. Let's roll. I like that. I like that. I like the energy. I can use it. I can use it. Thanks for bringing it. I am Drew Walsh. This is Domain to Profit. And today we have a new audience joining us, and that is the audience of LinkedIn. We finally, after many months of trying to get on LinkedIn as a approved live stream, we are in theory there. So welcome LinkedIn, welcome everybody from Twitter and Facebook as well. If you are not aware, one of the best things about this show is it is live, it is real time, the opportunities are real, they're available to you in the form of expired domain names, and there just so happens to be an amazing group of people that are over on chat on YouTube. So no matter where you're watching from, YouTube is where the primary chat is. So lots of great people over there that look for domains and develop them, lots of opportunities. So make sure you check out that. We have lots of opportunities this week, as we do every single week, in the form of expired domains. And what we are going to do is, well, I guess first thing first, say hi in the chat, wherever you are, whether it's LinkedIn, YouTube, Facebook, Twitter, ideally YouTube, but say hi in the chat to all the amazing people that are out there. Let us know where you're from. If you have any clue about domains, expired domain names or not, this is Domain to Profit. We're going to get started just on the other side of this. See you in a minute.
Domain to profit, from a .com to a business idea. Take a domain name, develop an income from Domain to Profit. We'll show you how. Domain to Profit, from Domain to Profit. Join Drew Walsh and get started right now.
All righty. Well, thank you for everybody joining here. Let me head over to chat, and I see lots of familiar faces here. Michael, first comment, there's always seems to be a competition. Fred, as I announced right off the get-go, DTP for the win, let's roll. I agree. I hope we find lots of great stuff in the expired domains, the hundreds, if not thousands of domains we'll make it through today. Lee, good morning, good afternoon, and good evening all. So wherever you are joining us from the world, I know we have lots of people spread all across the world, which is so very cool. English is, of course, primary, but we try to watch out for our English as a second language folks as we look to these domains as well. Ian, awesome to see you as well. We got lots of comments here coming in, and we got trash talking coming in from Michael that he beat Lee. And I have no metal. Sure, Matt. Gotcha. So what we are going to do is we are going to spend time over on our buddies expireddomains.net. And here's how this works. Just in case you're not familiar, I'm Drew Walsh. I am a domain investor and domain developer. So I've taken lots of various domain names worth millions of dollars, generating millions of dollars. And essentially what I do is take some time to show you how to do it with not just ideas, not just something I have to sell, which there's nothing, I'm selling nothing. What I do is I introduce you to expired domain names. And expired domain names, you ever wonder kind of like what happens when domain names expire? Just like where do they end up going? Well, we're going to show you, and we're going to show you that when these domains expire, so no matter whatever reason they end up letting this domain name expire, it becomes available again, right? So in some cases, great domain names come available, and in those cases, they go up for auction. And those auctions can be very competitive. They can be go easily 4, 5, 6 figure domain names easily go up for auctions. So I've participated in quite a few of them. And often here right on the show, I will even go as far as to bid on some of the auctions as well. So we will get started by going over to expireddomains.net. So I'm going to drag that over to the main screen. I am on a different setup a little bit, so fingers crossed that things work well. As you can see, I got numerous cameras, numerous things happening, and I'm hoping that things, yeah. Okay, so this is expireddomains.net, and what you'll find here is a database of hundreds of thousands, millions of domain names that are becoming available. The old owner let it expire, and now we are dealing with the old owner let it expire, and then the existing, where am I? Oh my goodness. Okay. The old owner let these domain names expire, and now we are out to find the best ones, the ones that are perfect for development. And yes, you can build on any domain name, right? It's blank land. But what we concentrate on here are domain names that kind of tell us what business they want to have on them. What business should be on a certain domain name. So you don't have to come to this show each week with some kind of crazy development experience or some kind of, just luck. Instead, what we can do is we can find domain names that are great for nearly anyone to invest in, develop in whatever way they choose to, and develop a business, develop some profit, develops a passive income to generate, a life in whatever that looks like for you. Whether it's you want to be active in the business, great, you go and do that. You want to kind of live a lifestyle business where your businesses generate revenue and don't necessarily require you to have a day-to-day activity. That's kind of my game. That's what I look to do. You're in a good place. That's exactly what we're about to do here. So over here we have expireddomains.net. And here on expireddomains.net, we spend a lot of time in the marketplace domain names. And the reason why we do that is you will find the GoDaddy expired domain name auctions here. As you can see over here, you'll find that there are millions of domain names that are being dropped, being deleted all the time. However, a lot of the best ones, especially for the sake of an hour-long live stream, we find GoDaddy is the best place to go. So expireddomains.net is the site that we are on. You can also view these domain auctions over on auctions.godaddy.com, which I'll show you as we get going. And your version of this, you'll need to create a free account. And I have mine set up to be dark mode because that's just how I roll. So whether you roll dark mode or not. So marketplace domain names is where we are. And then I'm going to this second one here, GoDaddy expired domains. And we are going to dive right into setting up our filters. So that way, instead of looking through 400,000 domain names, we're going to whittle these down to the best opportunity at finding quality domain names. So what does that mean? That means get rid of these numbers, get rid of the hyphens. We want to look at English words, and we want 1 to 3 English words. Can you go more? Sure. Can you go less? Sure. But we want to try to get the opportunity to find a value domain name, something that is middle of the road, expensive, ideally 3 figures, 4 figures, and avoid a lot of the spammy domains that you'll see here in just a second. You'll understand once we start to dive in here. And then the final one that we're going to set up is the .com, which is under the additional here. We go to .com. Yes, there's lots of different extensions out there, .net, .org, .info, .io. You'll hear all kinds of buzz about them, but ultimately, one thing is for certain when it comes to domain names, whether you have .io, .net, whatever, you always want to have the .com. .com is the primary one, even if you can't afford it right away. Let's just concentrate on .com, which is exactly what we do here on the show. So that is why we're .com. And then I did add in a requirement for within the next 7 days. This show's weekly, so no reason to look at domains that are going to be available next week. Applying those filters, we'll take that 400,000 domain names down to 73,000. 73,000 domain names. So these are expiring domain names, meaning the previous owner has let them, for whatever reason, they are expiring, meaning they're not renewing them. Could be they forgot about them, could be they just don't like them, whatever it is, their loss is our opportunity, and that's what we're going to look through here. We order our domain names by valuation. Now, this valuation that you see all the way over here is provided by GoDaddy and is just a shot in the dark. It has nothing to do with like what they expect it to actually sell for. It is more just kind of a number that they toss out there based on past sales, based on similar domain names and things. And we order our domain names by that just to help bring some of the ones that are most valuable to the top. But you'll find there's lots of other ways that we can do that. And we're just going to come into here, into our domain list, and just start to walk right down it. And this is pretty much what we'll do. So we'll find domain names, some of which are going to be amazing, and we will talk about a business that can be placed on them. Other domain names will fool you into thinking they're great. We'll talk about the warnings of those domain names, as well as some warnings on domains that they trick you sometimes. They get tricky, which I always encourage you, if you are in chat and you see a domain name that I'm skipping over that you think is perfect for development, feel free to mention it if you're willing to. I know some people try to keep their, since these go up for auction, they try to play it cool and just hope I skip over the domain name they want to feature or bid on. But Active Desk, I like that domain. Let's see what that's running for just to get us started here. Active Desk. What do we think Active Desk would be used for? What does it tell us? What does it speak to us at? I don't know. It sounds like just a SaaS product. It sounds like just some kind of IT project that shows active tasks in projects you're working on. $45 is what it is currently. The next bid would be 5 days left in the auction, appraised at about $4,300. This is probably more of an investment type domain name rather than one that we would look to develop. Not entirely sure what just happened there, but that's cool. So what we're going to do is I'm going to come over to spyfoo.com. So Spyfoo is a tool that we will use from time to time that allows us to not just go off of our instinct. Yes, I have typically a pretty good instinct for quality developable domains. Is that a thing? Does that sound right? We'll go with it. You know what I mean. But what we want to do is we want to pull in data from outside sources to help us get a better idea of if it is a good domain name for development. So I've been wrong before. I don't think that we're going to see much data here. Let's find out. ActiveDesk.com, little bit of volume here. So if you can see that, no, you cannot. Will it let me move it over? No, it will not. Okay. So what this is showing here on Active Desk is it is for Active Desk 420 is the monthly search volume for the keywords Active Desk. And you'll see here that there seems to be something to do with VTech. So maybe VTech has a product or something called Active Desk. Not really VTech Activity Desk. Not really sure what's happening there. How to be active with a desk job, how to keep active desk job. So what we're looking through with this data is we're just kind of getting a vibe. We're looking for, are there people actually searching for it? So what this is telling us is 420 people are searching for this keyword each month. It might actually be more or less depending on how many ads and things Google is showing. Similar keywords kind of gives us an idea of, is this keyword related to other topics that we can tap into? And then over here, are there questions that our domain name, if we developed it out, would be best situated to answer? So for example, if there was a question over here that was, what is the best way to keep an active desk? Which there is not one, but if there was, we would know that people are asking about our specific topic, which our domain name, now we know we can create content for it to put it on that domain name and voila, we would have content that can generate some traffic. And the last thing I'll point you out to on this page, is we'll look into more as we go through further domains, is this section down here. We like to see lots of advertisers paying lots of money per click. And you'll see here, there's really not much. There's one advertiser paying some money for it. In general, if you're building something that you think ActiveDesk is a good brand for, then maybe go for it. Otherwise, for me, it is a skip of a domain name. If you get that one for investment purposes, sure, it's probably worth $300-400. You could possibly find somebody that wants it as a brand down the road. But as far as development goes, not really seeing it, other than if you have something that you're already kind of doing, maybe a dispatch desk or some kind of tool for keeping your projects organized. So back over to our list here on expired domains. Professional search, that could be maybe a jobs board. I'm not going to dive into it much unless there's interest from the chat. Map project, not really feeling it. You can see that's a little bit of a pretty good example of a domain name that tells you what you expect to find on it. Map project, like, well, what do you expect to find on it? Maybe some kind of open source map project or something. I am not 100% sure. Michael, you're talking over my head here, man. They're starting to use nano crystal electricity to energize desktops to power equipment. Are you just messing with me or something? Well, if whatever that is true, then sure, go for it. Like Diamond Rewards, that sounds like a pretty good brand, possibly something. I don't know. Again, we avoid brands here. We're not looking for domains that we could buy to brand. You can do that on any domain name, even if it's a good domain that's valuable. We try to stick to domain names that we can develop with a purpose specific to what the domain name is. And we'll find some. Vehicle partners, interesting domain. If you have a topic, so based on last week, if you have a topic that you want us to search for, so maybe you have a hobby that you are looking for a domain name in, or a business you're wanting to start a business in a certain industry, feel free to mention it in the chat. And what we can do in a moment, as we change gears, we can look through domain names based on keywords and look specifically for domains for a specific person or project, which is one more way that we can do this. Because as you saw, even though we took this down from 400,000 domains down to, well, whatever we took it down to, 40,000 domains, we're going to get through 200 to 600 domain names today, not 40,000. So social traction, Woods Online. Okay, so one thing I do try to warn against, especially if you're new to domain names, or possibly if English is not your primary language, is what I call the middle S. So let me pull this up here. You'll see this often in domain names. And if I could find it again, Woods Online. I don't know if Wood Online would be a good domain name. Now that I say it out loud, it makes me blush a little bit. But a lot of times what you'll find is domain names will sneak a middle S into them. And that middle S, you might not think it matters, but often, unless it makes sense to be there, it is just a character that is added that sounds like it might make sense, but it completely kills the domain name. We'll find one. So for example, like it's not there, but let's just use our imaginations for a moment. Southwestpoker.com. If that was southwestspoker.com, it would still look pretty good, but because it has that middle S, it would completely lose, like, it's not any good. Does that make sense? It's a garbage domain as of that point. There are some exceptions, but not often. Not often. And what you also find is if you are using, say, for example, like when you do a search on GoDaddy, they sometimes will tell you, they'll make a recommendation with that middle S, sales fuse, sale fuse. I actually kind of like the middle S there. Genetic management. I don't know if that's a thing. I'm not going to go Googling it, but maybe. Smart ideal. So one thing you'll find if you're kind of new to looking through domain names, especially if you're super optimistic, super uh, creative, which I consider myself in that group, what you'll find is you can come up with a business idea for every single domain name you see, which is not necessarily a good thing when it comes to domain names, because just because you love it, just because it makes sense to you, uh, it's still going to run you money to buy and to keep. And if your job is to develop it or sell it, you're likely just creating a big headache for yourself. I have plenty of domain names that I thought were great that not so much. They sit in my portfolio and I don't know if they'll ever actually be developed. A couple that come to mind are like strangeguy.com. I'm like, oh, that's a fun domain. I'll buy that because that kind of describes me pretty well. And well, I still have it, have no clue what I'm going to do with it, if anything, ever. So, okay, well, we'll keep on rolling down through the domain names. And if you see something that I am missing, then feel free to yell it out in the chat, and we can pull it up, and I will let you either know why I skipped it, or maybe you just saw something that I didn't. Page down. Buy cup. That's so close to being a good one. I know the whole buy a cup of coffee or whatever. That's pretty fun stuff. Virtual art space. Let's check that out. In this whole crazy NFT world that we kind of are living in, if you are active on Twitter, a lot of people are dealing with virtual art. They're in the virtual art space in the form of NFTs, although it's not about the art. But this one, for example, might fall into that space. Virtualartspace.com, $15 the current bid, 5 days left in the auction. And what we will do is we're going to go over to SpyFu and virtual art space. I doubt there's anything there, but let's look just to see if we can pick up on something that ends up being a domain name that flies under the radar for most. Generate virtual art space, art design, how to display art in a virtual space. That is why, that one right there. So this is why we look at some of these similar keywords. This keyword here is what I was thinking when I saw this domain name. There's a lot of virtual art out there nowadays. And how do you display it? How do you use it? What's the point of it? Create a virtual, art gallery. These kinds of keywords. It's not there yet. It's an early domain. That might mean you can get it for cheap. And if you get it for cheap, then maybe you can do something with it if you're passionate about that industry. But for me, no advertisers, no cost per click. It's a quick pass. Let's move on. Yeah, and this is yeah. So let me see. We have Matt saying that NFTs are awesome, and Ian saying that he doesn't understand NFTs at all. Maybe you should learn what it's all about. I'm torn. I play with NFTs a little bit, mostly just because I love the tech behind them. I love the crypto and blockchain stuff, but it's still a bit early. Like by that I mean it's. When you mess with these NFTs and things, you can lose your shirt. Like there's a lot of just stuff that's practically illegal out there. When I say practical, I mean it is. Like people will tell you to do something for the purpose of getting your money, and it's a little weird. I've made some money. I know lots of people that have made a lot of money, but for the most part, I've pulled back on my NFT stuff just because it is time consuming. Forget that stuff. Oh, there you go. Well, no, Jake was is asking about my ENS name. I set up an ENS name, which is a crypto domain name. I went with eHug. Let me type that into the chat just so you can. Uh, so eHug. Oh, there you go. Thanks. There you go. But eHug is what I went with because I own the .com, right? Yeah, I own drewwash.com as well. But anyhow, too much of a rant there. NFTs though, someday I'll maybe do just a live stream to kind of walk people through them, show you a lot of the little lessons that I've learned that can hopefully help people avoid scams. It is buyer beware. My Smart Coach. Anybody in love with that one? My Smart Coach. My is a pretty good word to tap at the front of a good domain name, but I just don't think that. Ooh, here we go. I like this one. Recyclingfurniture.com. Recyclingfurniture.com. Ends in 6 days, $22. Let's go grab the domain name and head over to SpyFu to get a good look at this one. I have a feeling that this one might have a pretty good following. Maybe not. Okay, so here's recycling furniture. $250 is what it is. Recycled furniture, recycle furniture. A lot of near misses on the keywords that could take what is a 250 search domain name up to a couple thousand. Let's see what some of these questions are. How to recycle furniture. So what I'm thinking with this domain name, and the reason why when I saw it here, okay, here we go. Let's zoom in on this just so you can kind of see some good numbers. I love to see when the advertisers are double digits, and I like seeing this above $1. So when it comes down to this specific domain name, recyclingfurniture.com, I was listening to, let me see, NPR, National Public Radio here in the US, and they were talking about a big push at IKEA, the furniture assembly place that you have to buy it in a box, put it together, which I actually love. I'm a freak. I love putting furniture together. They have a goal to essentially buy back old furniture for the purpose of reselling it and recycling it and stuff. So I know that recycling furniture actually has a little bit of a push to it. So the people are wanting to be able to, sell off their furniture or trade it in more frequently, even if it's that kind of disposable type furniture, which IKEA is. It breaks if you ever try to move it. You probably know that. And they're just trying to do more to recycle furniture. Long story short, there's some juice with this. What I could see happening with recyclingfurniture.com is it being actually a place to resell or give away furniture, like a free swap of furniture, or maybe people list or pay to list like a storefront where they refurb furniture and then resell it off. Maybe a bit of a stretch. Two long words. Recycling furniture, a lot of characters for what it is, but certainly worth, if you're into furniture recycling, that kind of stuff, possibly in your arena and worth checking out. Okay. Feel free to, I don't want to dive into NFTs as far as domain keywords. There's a lot of people that are really spending a lot of money on NFTs and meta domains. But what I would love to do is, if you have, last week we talked about storage. We did some searches for storage. If you have any kind of single keyword for an industry that you're interested in, let me know. Top roller, I don't know, maybe a roller coaster domain name, which Chaz, who sometimes watches, I know he's a coaster guy. My commitment. Okay, this sounds like a New Year's Eve goal play. So my commitment. So New Year's Eve, everybody's setting all their New Year's Eve, their resolutions, and They're kind of thinking like, okay, well, I'm going to lose 100 pounds and yeah, hopefully sound works with this. Okay. But I'm thinking mycommitment.com is a good opportunity for somebody to get a domain name, put together a basic tool that is for, you put your commitment out there. It's my commitment. And then maybe you invite a community to support your commitment or whatever it is. If that makes sense, does that make sense? I like it. I like it from that perspective of it could be a place to set up the my commitment. I love it. In fact, let's get this party started. Am I logged in? Yes, I'm the highest bidder. Already bidding on that one. Let's go over to SpyFu and see if my commitment draws anything. If I can spell it. Commitment. 125 exact searches. And let's see here. Into your hands I commit my spirit. My friend committed suicide. My friend committed. Oh, okay. My cousin. There's a lot of cousins and things. My commitment. Wonder why that draws so much of that. Can I blame my husband? Oh my dear goodness. This is like a dark. It's like a horribly dark keyword. Like get depressed immediately once you see it. Okay. So there's a little bit of keyword action. Not much happening. It's getting crossed into commitment as far as suicide type stuff for whatever reason. But I do believe there's something there in the goal-oriented type world. Ooh, crypto moonshot. There you go. All you people asking crypto and NFT type questions. Maybe that's a good opportunity for you to look at that. Crypto moonshot. We'll keep going. Your arrivals, live country. If Vito is on, he might be interested in that one. Vito, I think, bought live streaming or something. Liveevents.com, I believe he bought at an early show of Domain to Profit. I'd have to look that up. I'm sorry, Vito. I'm forgetting that. Solar contracting. I like that one. A little bit of a long word, but it does end in ing, which if you know my opinions on ing, I like them. I like it when it ends in ing. Otherwise, if it was solar contractors, you would be splitting some of the value between solar contractor, solar contractors, and that singular and plural gets in the way where ing does not. Solarcontracting.com. Let's see what happens when we check that out over on SpyFu. Hopefully it's a little more positive than our last keyword. Okay, solarcontracting.com. Less than 20 searches, not really happening. No advertisers, no clicks. See if anything. Solar contract. Okay, well, we came, we tried, and I'm disappointed that it really was nothing. So, but possibly if you are dealing in the solar business, if you've been looking for a way to deal with a solar type domain name, maybe that's your opportunity. Solarcontracting.com, maybe. They can't all be winners. Monday nightclub? That sounds horrible. Maybe if you're watching Monday Night Football or something. Clear auction. Sounds like a brand of auction software or something. List editor. I don't know. What do you think? Anybody list editor? I mean, it's kind of developy. DNA coffee. That sounds freaking horrible. DNA coffee. Support boards. Okay, let's see what the keywords look like on supportboards.com. The reason why is support boards could be any number of different things. See if we kick anything up. It's plural. We toss on the S. Not that it will matter much. Support board, under mattress support board. Okay, so we have both a product option, being couch support boards, under mattress support boards. Couch support board. Not a clue what that really would be, but maybe somebody sells a product for that purpose. Any advertisers? No advertisers, no cost per click. Meaning if you sell some kind of maybe corrugated plastic support board, then maybe it's worth a darn. Otherwise, that's a pass. Another strikeout. Usually we catch a couple that are like, boom, got this. We'll go with it. Victory. Victory. Okay, let me check in the chat here. Yeah, I don't. Yeah, good. See, that's Google. See, that's some Google stuff right there, like trying to manipulate us all. Take something that could be positive, my commitment to life, to my goals, and then turn it into freaking suicidal stuff. They actually show that depending on what Google and Facebook and some of those big companies show you, they can alter your mood, like in a freaking scary way. Like that's just nuts. Saliva infused yeah, that's exactly what went through my head when I saw the DNAcoffee.com is sounds like something somebody I do like support board. Let me go back. Supportboards.com. I'm going to mark it to check out later. I'm thinking it could be support boards as far as, yes, you can put supports under mattress, under couches. But what I actually like about that one is the idea of possibly like forums. They're still a thing. And maybe you list out all the support forums or something. Yeah, it's not there. Again, not all winners. But when we do find one, which we often do, we often find multiple, then it all comes together. Avid traveler. Is that like, I feel so. One thing about me that you may or may not know is I'm a horrible speller. I don't know if all of that is that a actual phrase, or am I getting something confused? No, it's an actual phrase. Okay, let's go with avid traveler. I know lots of people, lots of people. All you people out there, you want to be travel bloggers, and you want to travel the world and blog and somehow make money. I know you do, because everybody wants to do that. Like nearly every person I've ever like talked to about like wanting to start some business, they're like, oh, I'd love to travel and blog or something, get paid to do it, which there's not a whole lot of opportunity to necessarily do that. But sure, it can happen, especially if you can kind of lower your lifestyle expectations and maybe you hike or bike rather than drive a car or fly first class on some plane or something. Avid traveler, though, is possibly it's really good real estate for a blog or a group of blogs, other avid travelers, other people that are into that, the idea of, well, blogging and traveling. So let's look over some of the stats here. 510 searches. So there is some travel for this. People are searching for travel for this. There is some traffic for this keyword, this idea of avid traveler. And look, exact matches, 510, exact avid traveler meaning, international traveler. Oh, you got the international. Lee, do you spell traveler with 2 L's or 1? I think you can do it with both. What is an avid traveler? So it's mixed results on it. But again, if it's a blog, it could be good real estate for you to use. You are going to run into that idea of the 1L versus 2L, because I know that traveler is spelled depending on where you are in the world with 1 or 2 L's, which I don't like that actually. But if you can get that for cheap, it's currently $12 over on GoDaddy. Actually, next bid is $17. There is a bid out there, so you're going to have some competition to get that one. If you can get that one for like $188, maybe even $250, and you're going to develop it into a travel blog, I think you've done a really excellent job of finding quality domain name, because travel is really competitive. And if you're going to, if you're looking for a domain name for travel, you're just not going to find anything better than Avid Traveler available. That's for sure. And certainly not for less than $250. Trust me, I know. I buy a lot of travel domain names, tourguides.com and many others, planacruise.com. And I don't think I've ever spent less than a few $1,000s for a travel domain name. That does not mean it's worth a few $1,000s right off the bat, but it kind of does. If you can find the right buyer, it's going to be worth a couple $1,000s. So moving on. So anybody have a let's go with this. Anybody have a topic they want me to dive into? That's kind of this is a good point. We're about to go on to what, page 3 or 4 of expired domains. So if you have a topic, what we can do is we can set up some new filters, dive into some keyword specific filters, and look for domain names in maybe your specific arena that you're looking to enter into. Otherwise, I'm going to go one more page. 2 more seconds. And let me just, I'll go to the chat real quick for this. Lee adding in that, yes, we spell it correctly over here with 2 L's. So yes, thanks, Lee. That's just like your last name, right? 2 L's. There you go. In case you didn't, yeah. Okay. I gotcha. Except for you did see which one had more searches, right? The one with 1 L. I'm not saying, I'm just saying, although that's probably, I'm guessing SpyFu by default looks for US traffic or something. Well, we'll go one more round. Let's go one more page for these expiring domain names and see how this goes. Switching, seeing lots of my faces, and there's less. Okay. So we're on to page 3 of these, and I'm looking at these. I actually like a couple of these early ones, which is why I am going to go ahead and get started on it, which hopefully chat and things kick. Skip what on purpose? Eye optometry. Oh, let me see here. Somebody said eye optometry. Let me dive into that one real quick. I don't know. Matt, I don't know if optometry, gosh, can I even spell it? Geesh. Optometry. Yeah, I kind of figured that was going to be a little bit redundant between eye and optometry. I tend to avoid medical type domain names as well. I just don't like them. Like they're really tough to get into business with. So I did not see it. So good catch to bring up eye optometry. However, I'm fine skipping that. So thank you for bringing that up, though. And how do I hide all your messages? Okay, there we go. Okay, so I like this organic footprint. Is that a thing? Do people worry about that? Do people search for that? I think so. Organicfootprint.com. Let me close some of my tabs. And let's see if people search for organic footprint. I mean, isn't that a thing? Like people care about their carbon footprint. Do they care about their organic footprint? Evidently not. So 20 searches, no advertisers, no clicks. Drew is out of his mind. It happens. It is Monday. I take a chance that I'll just caffeinate and be able to bring you some gold here. Yoga mindset, resort office. That sounds like a place I want to work. Resort office. Yeah, exactly. That's exactly. So organic footprint, great. Carbon footprint is definitely the way to go. Organic footprint, not so much. I agree with you there, John. But that crossover, sometimes that if everybody's used to a common phrase, say organic foot or carbon footprint, and they think carbon footprint, that has something to do with the environment, organic does too. It'd probably be more of an investment play rather than something you would develop. But who knows? Maybe if you wanted to talk about, or again, probably more of a blog or something like that. Rewards locator, weed apparel. Oh. Some weeks, I felt like last week we found a lot of good stuff, which means I should probably just nix this. Let's go to some keywords. I'm going to give it 2 more page downs. 1. Okay, here's a good example of a garbage domain name. So look at this, Game School. If that was gameschool.com, you're talking a very good domain name. It can be where you teach people games, you could give them tutorials, give them run-throughs, walkthroughs, all kinds of different stuff can go on gameschool.com. Gameschool.com, garbage. Cannabis Syndicate, Referral Quest. These sound like, why do these all sound like games? Flip Coast. Is that a thing? I think people do Flip Coast. Cop Rides. So when it comes to domain names as well, expireddomains.net is trying to guess what word you want to actually use. So in this case, it looks like they're caprides. I don't really know what that word is, but I view it as cop rides, maybe. So people riding along with cops or something. US Rewards, Tax Sentinel, brand, the Social Fox. Again, another brand. Moving on. So here's what we're going to do now. I say we take a moment and we hear from our sponsor. Not really. There are no sponsors. No, there are no sponsors. We're not taking any money from anybody yet. I gotcha. So I'm open to sponsorship. Let's see here. So what I want to do here is I want to go back out to the homepage of expireddomains.net. If I can get it to show up. There we go. And I want to let's talk about some different ways that we can look through keywords. We've talked about NFTs. We've talked about carbon footprints. Let's look up gosh, I wish I had a good, let's go with Office. So last week we talked about setting up and saving a filter. And what that allows you to do is when I come to expireddomains.net, I can come in and click on a saved filter and jump immediately to check domain names in industries I look at. For example, storage. We did that last week and we found campstorage.com. I also mentioned, and it's still available, this one's available for like $30 right now as a buy now over on GoDaddy, emergencystorage.units.com. If you like that, if you think that's something, it's only $30 as a buy now over on GoDaddy. We found that last week from this here. So the filters I have set up here, we got rid of numbers, we got rid of hyphens, English 1 to 3 words. Then we also set up, I did not actually, or did I? I thought I set up a maximum number of characters of 16, but I did not. Then I had .com only. So what we are, this is what I'm trying to show you, this area up in here. So you can look for specific keywords in the domain names. In this case, we're searching through GoDaddy domain names still, but you can actually expand these domain names or these specific searches over other different categories. So again, we're looking through domain names through GoDaddy right now, but we can go over here to pending delete, for example. And if we go to pending delete from our saved search, it's going to keep our filters and look through all the pending delete domains. So that means all the domain names that are on their way to being deleted may show up here. So it's not just GoDaddy. It could be from any other registrar out there. And it's pulling together 55 major domain names. Disney Storage, Data Storage, Us. If that was Data Storage, could you imagine how great of a domain name that would be? Develop Storage. I have no interest in really storage, but that was the keyword I already had set up. So how do you set up one of these keywords? Because evidently all of you out there are keeping your keywords and keeping your industries that you're interested in secret. I get it. I get it. I'm the same way sometimes. I want to keep some things secret. Not necessarily, not from you. I don't keep secrets. I don't keep secrets from you. You know this by now, right? Like I'll type in my max bid just for you. You can even see what I'm bidding, which I always appreciate that you don't bid me up. That's why I do it, because I know we can trust each other. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to show you how to set up these filters. So that way, whether you're looking for something in transportation, logistics, maybe you have a specific product that you're looking to, build a website around. Well, you can do that, set up these saved searches and look through all the expired domains and just as a weekly routine, come back in and find the perfect domain name when it's available to you. Instead, because realistically, we're looking this moment at this one snapshot of time where there's, yes, hundreds of thousands of domain names available, but you know what happens next week? Hundreds of thousands of domain names come available again next week. And then the week after that, it's constant. It never ends. Never ends. Job security for some guy doing a live stream. Here's what we're going to do. We are going to go and we are going to set up these filters. So I'm going to pull up. Yeah, here we go. We're going to pull up expireddomains.net and we are going to start in the marketplace domains. Again, I'm just going to go to GoDaddy expired domains and then I'm going to pull up the show filters when it's loaded. So unless by chance you are really looking for number of domain names, we're going to get rid of numbers, we're going to get rid of hyphens. I often set my maximum length to 18. The reason I do that is I want to really whittle things down as small as possible. And you'll find that a lot of times, even if you have too long words, it gets carried away. The domain name's still not quality. You can get rid of this, but I'm going to keep it for me. Play with it. See if there's a length of domain name that you like. My experience says that is a pretty good amount. And then I'm still sticking with .com because that's how I roll. That's how we all go here. So what do we want to search for? I see somebody mentioned a couple good cannabis domains. So there we go. We'll go for cannabis. This is a 420 friendly show. Cannabis Blast, Cannabis Syndicate, Cannabis in Pipe, Circadian Cannabis. So lots of good brands. Cannabis Topics. So talking about a good domain name for a blog, and this is coming from it looks our weekly CBD cakes, bringing us into the cannabis world. So I do like cannabistopics.com. That's a pretty good domain name. So currently we are looking at GoDaddy specific domain names. And I'm clicking on that. Let's see what the auction's going for. That ends in 17 minutes and is going for $17. So if you're watching live, you have an opportunity right now to grab that one for a pretty reasonable price, assuming you like cannabis topics. So we have a couple minutes here to be able to do some research on it. So let's see if it's actually worth something. Cannabis topics. We have 55 monthly searches, estimated clicks. You can generate maybe 40 in the search. There's no advertising stuff because it's cannabis, and I don't think you're even allowed to pay to advertise on it, which is, in my view, because you cannot advertise on Google or Facebook for cannabis products, that means there's an opportunity for blogs and things like that to advertise directly. Because cannabis companies out there want to get their name out there. They want to advertise, but they can't do it with these national companies. So maybe you can put together some kind of side deal or something on your blog here on cannabistopics.com. What a good blog. I'll tell you what, hopefully somebody here on this show gets that. DM me after the show. Let me know if you did get that. I hope somebody here views that and grabs it. Crate Cannabis, Creators Cannabis, Twitch Cannabis. Okay. I have to say that that is Cannabis Medically. I'm going to go one more down, and then I'm going to look for another keyword. So what you can do with this is say that you are CBD cakes out there and you want to continue to come back to look for cannabis-related keywords. You can save this search just by coming over here. So up here where we set our filters, and you just hit this little floppy drive, which, I mean, I remember floppy disks, but do you? Like, I have to think that that's kind of dating this quite a bit. And you can go up here, set this to GoDaddy Cannabis. If I can spell cannabis. 2 N's? My goodness, I'm a disaster. I'm like the worst speller. So now when you come into expireddomains.net and you're logged in, let me maximize this so you can see this. You can just come in and boom, hit that, go right to your cannabis search, and you're pulling up your results. So you're spending less time searching for the domain names that you find best and can quickly get to those. Let's see. Let's see if any of you has grabbed this already. Nope, nobody. I'll tell you what, if that goes to buy now, I'm going to have to get it, peeps. I'm not going to let that one go out to, I'm not going to let that one disappear. I'll buy it as an investor then. Well, let's go out to the filters. So what's another keyword that we can dive into here with just a few minutes left? I want to look for another keyword. I've just not been buying as many domain names, so I don't really have a bunch of keywords that I look for. I'm going to look for service, actually. So let me pull this back out to where you can see this. And we will... Whoa, that's a lot of Drews. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to search for service. Mainly, I do like some domain names that have service in them. So we'll set that up. We'll keep it all the same keywords. Now we're looking for domain names that have service in them. I've never set one up for this keyword. So we'll give us a quick look through how many domains, 341 domains. We'll look through about 100 of them. Yeah, so Michael's mentioning, what about betting? What about, gambling? I avoid those specifically. Betting and gambling have quite the competition. If you have if you are in those industries already, go for it. But I avoid them. I don't care to mess with them. But that's just me. And then Darcy's pointing out huge domains, which huge domains is known as a bot. So essentially what huge domains does is they have some automation behind the scenes. They search all the keywords and bid on a lot of domain names that their algorithms and bots and all that things, all the different tech, they use it to find great domain names, and they will be bidding against you. So sometimes it's a bot, sometimes it's a live person, and huge domains is one of the bots. And I see a lot of people that are just like, they don't like to mess with some of these cheaper domains because they feel like they're going to be bidding against the bot. And I can tell you this, I still win quite a few domains for cheap. I just got campstorage.com last week for $50. Nobody bid on it. I bought that as a buy now, which I could not believe I got campstorage.com for $50. So even though bots and things like for like huge domains, you'll bid against them, don't give up. Like, the opportunities are there. I view campstorage.com as thousands of dollars. It's worth thousands immediately from the moment I bought it, and I would love to develop it. And I got that for $50. So maybe you disagree, maybe you agree, but there's still lots of opportunities out there, even with automated bidding. Now, one of the tactics that I highly recommend you pursue is don't bid until 5 minutes and 5 seconds left. Give those algorithms and all those bots as little time as possible to know that somebody's bidding on that domain name. Just so you know. What is the cannabis domain name? It was cannabistopics.com. Cannabistopics.com is the domain name over on GoDaddy. Let me see if I can get that to come up. There you go. Cannabistopics.com is over on GoDaddy, ending in looks like 11 minutes or so. So I still think that's a pretty quality domain name, like it or not. So let's see here. Okay, too many Drew faces. And where were we? Okay, running through these through the chat here. Lawyer attorney domains. John was asking about those. There are some good keywords when it comes to lawyer attorney domains. I will tell you that word on the street is lawyers, attorneys suck at advertising. They are not good customers, and often will not pay for internet advertising for whatever reason. And for that reason, yeah, I keep an eye on them a little bit. I'll go do a quick search, just in case there's like something golden out there. The only thing is what I found is I just avoid them. I have mentioned, I look for a great domain name related to lawyers, but they're a little hard to find, and they're competitive. A lot of people assume, here we go, let's share this out. This one actually might be pretty tolerable. Look at this. We got mixing a lot of the topics that we talked about today. Crypto lawyer firm. Does that make sense? Crypto lawyer firm. It doesn't make sense. It doesn't. Okay, well, we tried. So this would be one of the ways that you can set it up to search. I did a search for lawyer, set up that filter, and you can certainly, keep an eye on those. I'm looking for a great premium lawyer, attorney type domain name. I've not found it yet. I believe it was whatever was up on my screen as at this point. Plural is what it was. Oh, yes, plural. So ending with an S. And let me see. And I'll just mention with this, as you probably know, none of these are for sale by me. I am not sponsored by GoDaddy or anything like that. Like, as of some point, maybe we'll list some private party ones for sale, but I don't want to necessarily. Okay, here you go. And when it comes down to, if you are a Cincinnati kid like me, everybody probably in your area, you have those attorney ads that are annoying as all heck. Well, Blake Maislin has a song, and that's the thing, is attorneys will spend a ton of money advertising for kind of the wrong things. I guess maybe the wrong things. Well, it's been an hour, folks, and we found some pretty good domain names. We'll see what happens with cannabistopics.com. We do have a bidder that's out there. I haven't decided. Find out in 7 minutes if you watch along. I do own bestedibles.com and cannabisvapes.com and a couple different cannabis domains. I usually leave these kinds of domain names out there for you. So either grab it or not. Otherwise, we'll let whoever is bidding on it get the domain. So we found some cannabis ones, Organic Footprint, avidtraveler.com with one L, so the U.S. spelling of it. So a couple good domain names out there. Hopefully you found something that was great for you. Hopefully, if nothing else, you also found how to search through these expired domains to find your opportunity if we didn't find it for you. So here's what we can do. We will well, I guess we'll see you next week is really what it comes down to. And next week we will be right back here to chat about domains, to look through opportunities, and to find domain names that are just perfect for developing for you. And if you are in the U.S., regardless if you're in the U.S. or not, this Thursday is Thanksgiving, which is one of my favorite holidays. And I just want to say I'm very thankful for you as somebody who joins me here each week on Domain to Profit. I love doing this show. I love domain names, and there's nothing better in my entire week than an hour spent here with you looking through domain names and hopefully bringing you some opportunities that you can pursue and change your life to where somewhere down the line you'll have a bunch of money. You'll be like, oh, that guy Drew was the one that introduced me to this stuff, which would be really cool. I'd really like that. So have a great Thanksgiving, and regardless of whether you celebrate it as a holiday or not, just know that I am very thankful for you as a viewer here of Domain to Profit. So thank you for joining me. If you haven't already, make sure you like and subscribe and all those things. If you've watched this long, you should certainly be doing that. I will see you next week, Monday, 3 p.m. Eastern Standard Time, as we do another edition of Domain to Profit. See you next week.